Hello everyone, Michael Riggs Rahuba here. In today's tutorial I would like to show you how to easily insert a simple object into your movie. As you can see, I have divided this tutorial into 5 parts. The first part is export maps from the program Crafty to your Cinema 4D. Number 2 is prepare the host and insert object and animate camera move. In the third part we will use the plugin performed by MST Havoc and render the object in the Cinema 4D. In the fourth part we will export the camera and record it in Half-Life Advanced Effect. In the last part I will show you how to finish the project and final results. I hope you will like it. Welcome to the first part. At the outset we open Crafty and then open the map chosen by us. In my case it's a map the Nuke. After this, export file to the desktop, then click OK and exit program. We go to the cinema and in the layer palette click File, Merge Object. Find your file and then press OK. Click on all the layers and then group them. As you can see, map is rotated in 90 degrees. To work more easily, rotate it to normal view. At the outset, the second part, we will create 2 materials, one for our object and it will be purple. And the second for the map. This will be green, 0, 255, 0. And we've chosen this in Luminance tab and set the brightness to 1000. Now you have to insert an object, cube, sphere, text or any other. In my case it will be sphere. Place it in a good location for you. You can add some shadows of the ball on the map, reflection from the background on the ball, but I skip it because I have the task only to show you how to insert an object on the map. Add the camera and then activate it by clicking on the small square near the camera layer. Go to Object tab, then find Field of View. As you can see here it's 53 degrees and 13 minutes. Camera in Counter-Strike has field of view 90 degrees. So for match camera movement in Half-Life Advanced Effect and in Cinema 4D you have to change this to 90 degrees. Our clip has now 90 frames, so it takes 3 seconds. Let's change the duration to 10 seconds. Type here 300. When you are on the first frame, put your camera in the right place, then click on Make Keyframe. We do the same with the frame number 100, 200 and 300. When everything is correct, we put the materials. Purple on the ball and green on the map and the sky. It's time to use plugin made by MST Havoc. Select the camera and then enter into the plugins tab and select Cinema 4D to HLAECAM. Check 90-degree fix. Save it in folder on your desktop. Name it Nuke. Now it's time to render the object. You have to type the resolution of your movie. In my case, it's just render test, so it's only 800 by 450 pixels. Check the options here for saving all the frames. We go to Save tab, select the location and format of your movie. On the anti-aliasing, select the best and filter animation. Then click on the render to picture view. Wait until all your screens will be saved. Launch Half-Life Advanced Effect and set your own settings which you have set in Cinema. In my case, it is 800 by 450 pixels. Load your config and launch the demo. The number of FPS what you have in Half-Life Advanced Effects must be matched with the number of FPS in Cinema. For me this is a standard 30 FPS. Press Escape and enter the Events tab. Add new staff text for your action time on the demo. We call it Start. Let's go a few frames forward, open the console and type mirf cam import load. And put the address of your BVH file. Open the folder with your file and copy the address. Paste it in console. Add slash at the end and name of your file. For me this is nuke.bvh. Copy all this command and paste it in staff text. Go backwards a few frames and add staff text and enter mirf record movie start. from time when you load the camera, go 10 seconds forward because your animation takes 10 seconds. Then add another subtext and type MIRF record movie stop. Press escape and then play and wait until your animation will be saved. In the last part of the tutorial, you will learn how to connect those two layers, one with a ball and green background, and other with map saved in Half-Life Advanced Effect. Open up a new project and set resolution. For me it's 800 by 450 pixels. Enter into the Project Media tab and export our two clips. First is a clip with ball. Second are the screenshots from Half-Life Advanced Effect. Check Open Still Image Selection. After this clip will not open as 300 individual screenshots but one clip. Enter the right frame rate. For me it's a 30. Then put the map clip and on added video track add a sphere clip. We find the right moment when our camera is imported. Press S, which make your clip divided into two parts. Remove unnecessary. We do the same with the end of the clip. Click on an event FX, then find Sound Chroma Key plugin, which will delay the background color in the clip with a ball. Choose the right color. As you can see, the background is removed. Now we have to just render it. It's Michael Drix Rahuba here, and that was a tutorial how to put primitive objects into your Counter-Strike movie. To next here.